Welcome to the Landscape Photography Vlogcast, hosted by myself, Tom Peters, aka the Photo Ninja, all the way up north, Paul Thompson Photography, and Struth mate, it's Matt Bishop. We cover all things photography and chat to some of the best photography minds in the business. Put your feet up, the kettle on, and let's jump straight into this week's Vlogcast. Proudly sponsored by Case Filters. Capture with confidence.
Good evening, Paul. How are you?
I've just checked in.
So this is episode 77 of our Landscape Photography podcast. And this evening, we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Ed Rhodes.
Oh!
We've been trying to get him on the podcast forever, and we finally got him on because he didn't realise. I don't know how.
No, I didn't realise.
He's been getting drunk off mountain water.
Strong stuff.
Strong stuff. Yeah, we get a microphone in the middle of the room, so anyway.
So we've got Matt Bishop,
apparently, yeah,
Tom Peters, and a pissed Paul Thompson
with his glasses
I'm
on.
on the way to the pissed.
and a high on life.
Yeah,
Ed Rhodes.
carpenter come photographer.
Carpenter come photographer. We're currently sitting at about 1,600 metres above sea level in a what would you call this place?
The beautiful, authenticated
Chalet?
house.
No, it's not
really.
Chalet? No, it's like just a mountain hut. Not a mountain.
Refuge?
Yeah, you can't say mountain hut because that'd be like a log cabin, wouldn't it? If you say log,
It's a bit more structural than that, isn't it? It's more
thick walls.
Yeah.
We're in a medieval part of Italy in the Italian Alps, and we finally bought the bullet and we decided to get together. And Paul and Tom got their ass over here finally. And Mr. Ed Rhodes. If you don't know Ed Rhodes, I suggest you go and check him out on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, on his website. Actually, no, don't go and check him out on his website because his website's horrible. Isn't it?
Go on.
No, you did. Oh, you got rid of it, did you? There you go. So just check him out on Instagram, okay? He's there.
Facebook, yeah.
So we've got 3 Englishmen and an Aussie away at the moment. We're spending 4 days travelling through Italy, and I'm just going to take these guys around and show them just a few highlights of a few places that I know. And along the way, we're going to meet up with another photographer, an Italian photographer by the name of Luigi Nespica. We're going to have some fun. And in the meantime, we're just sitting at the table. We just had dinner in a little apartment, and we've got Ed Rhodes here, and Ed's going to talk. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah?
Long overdue. It's been 2 years, hasn't it, now, since we got together. But I think COVID had the biggest say in that.
Oh, it did have to say.
Yeah,
Otherwise, mate, things would have gone mental, wouldn't they?
Yeah, not before. So yeah, it's been long overdue. But for the first day today has been quite something. We've seen some amazing conditions.
God, it's only been 1 day.
I know. It feels like we've been here a week, doesn't it?
It's just awesome. Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
What are you doing over there, Paul? You on Instagram, putting up Instagram stories?
Yeah. Instagram Reels, funnily enough. That's what I'm doing.
Wow. Yeah, so this is our first day of 4 days out in Italy. In a very secluded area that, on the map internationally is not known at all. And so we're going to spend a bit of time out here going through these areas that I know quite well, and the guys are going to see these locations with fresh eyes, and we're just going to let it go mental for 4 days. Yeah. How did you find today, Ed?
Incredible.
Yeah.
It was more than I expected, to be honest, and I never really have preconceived ideas about places. I kind of like to go and just see what it's like from fresh eyes rather than doing a lot of homework and research. But like I said to you earlier on the way in, Matt, I hadn't quite realised just how mountainous Italy was.
Yeah.
And to drive up from Rome and to see them sort of appear in the distance as you arrive there is quite impressive. And I think
it's that thing about travelling from Rome and just slowly you don't realise you're going uphill, and all of a sudden you just hit 2,000 metres and you're like, where did that come from? Yeah.
And we've still got snow on the very top peaks, which was quite nice to see.
Yeah.
I think UK not long ago and had some at lower ground,
Yeah.
which would have been quite nice to see. But trickier to drive on.
Yeah.
So I think we got the best of both worlds
I think so.
the way it is now.
The light we had this morning, well, this afternoon. Sorry.
This afternoon,
just-
Yeah, to
Perfect
see that
way.
cloud coming was just
Yeah.
quite surprised. I mean, I've seen quite a lot of cloud inversions at home at the Peak District,
Yeah.
but never in the afternoon or evening.
No.
So that was quite an experience, really.
I suppose
to see
that's
that.
the beauty of being at altitude. You get that difference in temperature.
Yeah,
It's more severe, and you get that changeable weather more, don't you?
yeah, it does. But it created quite a
Yeah.
dramatic scene. For
And even when we was
didn't it?
down in, I keep forgetting the name, Matt. When we was in the
in the valley,
the valley,
the Emperor's.
Emperor's
Field.
Emperor's
Yeah.
Field.
There's the translation.
Yeah, that was just out of this world. Yeah.
Yeah,
When you talked earlier about when you was in Patagonia with Matt,
yeah,
and you said about how you felt emotionally
yeah. At Fitzroy.
overwhelmed by that situation.
Sure, yeah,
Honestly, when we had this morning, I was a bit sort of like, oh my god, this is
Where the hell's Matt going to take me?
this is gonna be amazing.
yeah.
And then when we had that cloud immersion, and then we had, like you talked about, the the way that the clouds sort of come up
Form that wave.
from that wave, and I honestly felt like this is
It's
something,
special, isn't it,
this
when
is
that happens?
something that will never be seen again.
Absolutely.
In that way.
Yeah.
I know we'll see cloud
Yeah.
inversions again,
Yeah.
but I mean in that way,
No, that was
with
quite
the
unique.
four of us, and yeah,
It becomes a moment, I think, doesn't
Yeah,
it? When you're
without
all
getting-
involved and you're all aspiring to do the same thing and you all witness something like that.
Yeah.
It becomes extra special. And as you said, that moment back in Patagonia with Matt, when we woke up from quite cold nights,
It was
sleeping in
snowing.
a tent with snow.
I did hear about that. You struggled with that, didn't you, mate?
Yeah, I did struggle big time. Yeah, it was just not on my wavelength at all, but you know what? It was one of the most rewarding things I've ever done.
Yeah.
And as Matt said, to wake up and literally walk 5 minutes to see that view with the alpenglow on Fitzroy,
Yeah.
with mirror still reflections, was just a moment I'll never forget. Both of us, it just kind of really brought us to tears, didn't it?
Well, it wasn't just that. It was the fact that the day before, there was a freaking blizzard there. It
Yeah, there was.
snowed, and everyone that was in the town
Yeah,
said, we're not going anywhere.
Well, we had to delay our start by 4 hours, if you remember.
Because I spoke to the guide in the morning. I said to the guide, what are we going to do? And she said, well, it's up to you. If you want to hike up in the snow, we can go.
Yeah.
It's probably going to stop. So we've got the tent up there waiting for us.
Yeah.
You decide what you want to do.
Yeah.
So we just said, all right, let's just go for it. So we actually hiked in the snow, and we arrived drenched from head to toe.
Yeah. I mean, your boots were soaked.
God,
It was soaked.
remember we put candles in our
Yeah,
boots
to try
at
and-
night time to try and heat them up?
Yeah.
Because they were that wet inside. You know, little tea candles?
Yeah,
We put them
tea
inside, put the cigarette lighter on there and put them on the corner of the tent to try and
Just to
dry them
generate some
out.
heat.
Yeah.
It's funny though, isn't it? Like how these moments that we talked about, like these conditions that mean something to you in the moment.
Yeah.
There's always a build up to it, isn't there? Something.
Today's episode of the Landscape Photography Vlogcast is proudly sponsored by Case Filters Global, bringing a high quality filter shooting experience to many global landscape photographers and enthusiasts. Paul, Tom and Matt all use these filters on field and highly endorse the product. So if you're looking for a filter system to add to your camera bag that is durable, easy to use and highly functional and most importantly optically neutral, then look no further than Case Filters. Case. Capture with confidence.
Yeah, and I think, as I said, because of the conditions that we walked up in the day previous, and the cold night sleep in snow, it just adds to all the elements that culminates to one massive thing that becomes quite euphoric.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was just, wow, honestly, I was in tears, and Matt, we just hugged each other and went, this is special.
Yeah.
And people go and hike there for 2 weeks and stay 2 weeks and never see Fitzroy
Yeah.
because it's completely covered in cloud.
Yeah.
We were so fortunate to see that.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that as long as I live.
Yeah.
And look at today. Look at today for
Yeah.
the first day of
And
London.
do you know what? Equally, this was really, really special.
Yeah.
Really
And
special.
a look at the light we got back in there. Just thought we'll go and check out. Is it the Emperor's
Field.
Field?
Well, we can call it what we want. That's the direct translation from
Yeah,
Italian. But I mean, there's no one that actually says it's called the Emperor's Field. Yeah.
That,
we'll call it the Emperor's
that is
Field.
a perfect
Yeah,
environment for me.
You just turn up. You turn up and look at
Yeah.
the light you get.
Yeah.
It just clears and
You're in a flat valley.
Within minutes, just
with all that
changing
around
content,
you.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just amazing,
It's a shame we can't access a lot of those points because it's the end of snow season. All those roads are blocked. Because we can go to some spots that are just going to be mind blowing.
We'll have to come back then, won't we?
Well, the intention is that, guys.
Part two.
You know, I live in Italy and we've got Italy at our disposal and it's a 2-hour Ryanair flight away. So, you know.
And we know how to work the arse out of Ryanair now as well. So
Just don't bring in the Allen keys.
Just don't bring me Allen.
Give out the keys and make sure you bring a penknife.
Yeah. Honestly.
Oh.
But yeah, what a fantastic start to the trip. I mean,
Wow.
and look at this place we're staying at.
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah.
We're currently sitting in we're trying to describe it before, weren't we?
Would this be a farmhouse at some point?
Well, it's not a farmhouse. I mean, what we were basically saying is, okay, this place in the 1940s was destroyed by an earthquake. And everyone who lived in the area were forced to evacuate the area. And they're basically left with nothing. Thanks, mate. We're topping up. We bought 3 bottles of red tonight, and this is the number
2.
2.
Another one to go.
What about you? I've got to open
That's
another
all
bottle.
right.
It's all right. I'll
Open it live, mate. Open it
just
live.
as well that Ed came through. He bought the bottle opener with him, and he doesn't.
And I brought
drink.
the wine.
And you don't drink.
Well, we're screwed. We've got to start on Scotch after
So we're in
this.
this. We're in this little town that's got like this abandoned castle at the top, and we're talking about 1600 metre medieval castle that's just sits at the top of this mountain peak.
Mountain Peak. This place is unreal. I mean, you're standing on the top, and
It's
you
the
could
top
just
of the world, isn't it?
yeah.
You are. Yeah,
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm shit scared of heights, so it's not the best thing for me. But at the same time, this place is so spectacular. It's just
The views.
yeah.
And it's like we were saying also up there, Paul, it's just the tranquility and the silence is deafening.
Yeah, you just stand there. I mean, you
On a
stood
day
on
like
top-
How was the
That's
wind?
there,
How was the wind in between those two mountains today? We could hear
Freaky.
but it was like 75
Freaky.
kilometres away.
I've never heard that before in my life.
No.
And it was like a woof. You know,
I-
and you go.
My mum's side of my family are all Scottish, and they lived in Stirling. So we used to go up to Kirkle and all that, and Orkney Islands. I've got some uncles in Orkney, and I've never heard wind like that in an environment where it's so still.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. It was almost like a steam train or a...
It was almost catching fences or something like that.
Yeah, it was the most surreal thing I've ever heard.
It's even stranger when Luigi Nespica jumps out from under a bush and says, "Don't forget to subscribe." So I mean, going back to this place, we're trying to describe. How do you describe this place without actually coming here?
Epic. I think
It's-
straight away is something I would describe it as.
It's not Tuscany. It's not Dolomites.
I think
not,
it's used too much, that term, the epicness. But I mean, this place, honestly, that it deserves it.
It does, yeah.
It's rugged, isn't it? But it's subtle.
It's wild, Italy.
Wild.
It's full of character.
It is.
It's got character, yeah. But in a
Got its own character.
in a gentle way.
Yeah.
In an Italian way.
Yeah.
It's a bit flamboyant, isn't it?
It is. But the thing that hits you as soon as you walk in is the smell, Paul, isn't it?
Oh, it's awesome when you come through that front
the
door.
log fire.
First thing I said when you
that's
come
just
into that hallway, it's
So
just,
homely.
it smells.
Are we on about this place? Are we
Yeah, yeah.
on
Yeah.
about the area?
No. When you come in the front door of this place, this actual building, it just smells.
Did it?
I don't know. Have you spilled it all over the floor?
Yeah, it's alright. These places, they
Yeah, that's why the wood's dark.
that's why the wood's dark. Because people spill red wine on the
Sorry, man. I
floor.
just poured yours first.
got this shit
Almost dislocated my thumb trying to open that bottle.
Still
Yeah,
got
that's
stuff
fine.
going on.
What stuff?
This potent stuff that.
Oh, the root alcohol.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Oh dear.
I just smell it.
So we've jabbered on for
No?
how long? 18 minutes.
That's not long at all.
Ed,
What do you do an hour's worth?
Oh, that's better.
how do we do it in an hour? I don't know what we do in an hour because
cheers,
they're drunk now, so they
If
can.
we've done 18 minutes and you want an hour's worth,
Cheers,
I'm going to
cheers,
bed.
guys.
Cheers, buddy.
No, you're not going anywhere, Ed.
Cheers.
Cheers, Ed.
No.
Cheers, buddy.
For people out there who don't know you, which is pretty much everyone, because you're like the most socially when I mean social media inactive person that even though you do post on every day on Instagram, it's just that you actually post and then you just turn Instagram off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you just tell people?
It's time constraints, really.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. 'Cause it's time consuming. We were talking about that
is.
today, this morning, weren't we?
Because my job, I'm a carpenter.
Yeah.
And I work 5 days a week doing that. And then my photography takes up the rest of my time. And that's not accounting for time with family, etc.
Go to the toilet.
Yeah, do a lot of cycling, do a lot of road cycling. So trying to find time to do social media is just very limited. But I do like to post. I like to just let people know where I'm at, what I'm doing, that sort of stuff. So I am guilty of just posting and running, really, not following it up. But I just like to put out stuff that I'm doing, where I'm at. And people do look at it, but I'm a bit at fault for not checking out other people's work and spending time. But it's time I just haven't
You just
got.
don't have the time there.
Yeah.
So everything kind of has a consequence, really.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I'm not massive on socials. Purely down to time. But that's for the photography. God, I've been doing it now for 20 years. And it's taken me all over the world, literally. As we said, from Patagonia to New Zealand, Iceland, Canada, Lofoten, Thailand, Middle East, Europe, China. Pretty much covered a lot of places. And I feel I feel very lucky and blessed to be able to go and see, let alone photograph those places. But do you know what? That's one of the good things that came out of starting photography. It took me to places that I ordinarily wouldn't have gone to.
Yeah.
And you start to see things differently when you do go to photography.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
As opposed to just driving through and not really
Appreciating stuff.
appreciating or seeing what's there, really. It kind of makes you stop and look at things a little bit different, or it did for me.
Yeah, it does, it definitely does.
So it's been quite a trip, which I'd like to continue for many, many years to come.
So how would you? I'm sorry, hang on. If you didn't understand that, I said, would you?
It's the biscuits that do that.
Oh, no.
We're under our third bottle of Italian wine now. I'm dipping my biscuits.
In wine?
They've got a very weird shape, these biscuits, anyway. Would you consider yourself a landscape photographer?
Would I consider myself?
How would you categorise yourself as a photographer? Because you've got a very large gamma.
Yeah, I do. I like different genres. So I do say I'm landscape and
yeah, that's where you met me, because Golf Docs are just the best bike in the whole world.
Life model.
But I'm as happy in Patagonia as I am taking shots in London. I love doing the architecture stuff. I love shooting iconic buildings, and I love immersing myself in the likes of Patagonia, where you're in the middle of a vast country, in the middle of nowhere, seeing the most incredible sight under the most incredible conditions, and I equally get the same buzz shooting a blue hour shot in London.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's not many that do that, I don't think.
No, there's not. You either go one genre or nothing.
Yeah.
You enjoy everything.
I do.
Yeah.
And another genre that I don't do at home for reasons that it's kind of not accepted as such is photographing people, where I've done quite a lot of that in Cuba and in Myanmar where you can freely ask people, can you take their photograph?
Yeah.
And they're more than happy to do so.
Yeah.
But I think the Western society doesn't quite see it like that. And I think, I certainly couldn't drive around Manchester and see a pretty girl and say, can I take a picture?
Yeah.
The cuffs would come out, wouldn't they?
Yeah, it's got like, you've got nice ankles, can I take a photo?
Yeah, but
you want to headbutt you in the face.
But as I said, in Cuba and Myanmar, it's more acceptable there than it certainly is here.
Yeah. What about Burma?
Well, Burma is Myanmar.
Yeah, sorry.
It's just the renamed
version of it. Yeah.
But people call it both still.
God, aren't you gutted after you went there so recently just to see what's happening?
Yeah. Well, it was happening while we were there, but on the outskirts, and you have to go there with an organised group to the areas that we went to. Yeah.
So that was what, 3 years ago?
4 years ago, I think it was now, Matt. Yeah, 4 years ago. And it was a wonderful trip. So diverse, because as I say, we did the cities in Bagan, in Mandalay, up to Bagan, shooting the balloons at sunrise. And again, architecture stuff, the temples, and it's just so much to shoot and see, really. So for somebody that enjoys different genres, for me that was a great country, and I loved it. And the people were amazing. Yeah, and I think that's a nice thing about photography as well. Taking you to these countries is to see cultures. That's important, and to learn from them, really.
Yeah, definitely.
And you do see such a vast change in culture, going from, say, the States over to China to the Middle East. Yeah, it varies so much, and it's such an education.
So I think that's what changed with me. I didn't start off like photography. Me wasn't about landscape in the beginning. It was about travel.
Yeah.
Because I just moved over to Europe, and it was, I went and bought a digital, not a digital SLR.
But you were kind of on a travel route anyway, weren't you?
Well, no, I stopped in London for a year. My intention was to stay in London for a year and then travel and see the rest of the world. But for me, I went and bought an SLR camera because I wanted to capture it in the best way I possibly could. Yeah. Travel. And it wasn't until I actually settled in Italy and lived there that stopped. It's because I wasn't part of the travel anymore. I was part of the picture. Yeah. Because I was then part of it. Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't passing through. I was staying there. I was part of the culture. Yeah. And that's when travel stopped. And then it just became like, okay, I'm sick of all these people. I'll just want nature. That's what changed it for me. Yeah.
And again, that's good for you, isn't it? And that's another aspect of photography. It takes you to somewhere, shall we say, an escape. And also, that's a good thing that for me, I mean, obviously, being a carpenter working on site 5 days a week it's quite a noisy, dusty, dirty environment.
Dirty?
Yeah, with dust and...
It's just sawdust, it's not like dirty.
Yeah, it's not dirty, but... we'll call it dirtish. But to go and then climb up a mountain at the weekend and sit there for sunrise on your own is an extreme contrast from what I do 5 days a week.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And it's kind of a reset button, really.
Yeah.
As much as I love my journey and the photography, I think both working side by side works really well.
So I think Ed is in a position where so many people, they start photography as a hobby.
Yeah.
And they've got a job. They don't like their job. Hint, hint, Paul Thompson.
Yeah.
And
I do now. I love my job now.
Of course, you're sitting there drinking a bottle of red. That's the job, mate. That's all tax deductible, by the way.
Awesome. Ching.
Just tastes better.
There's such a movement of photographers, of landscape photographers, or just landscape photographers in general. I mean, look at what was the guy the Canadian photographer, singer. God, what did he sing?
Canadian singer.
A Canadian singer, famous Canadian singer, became a photographer, and he's like one of the most famous fashion photographers in the world now.
Oh God, don't know.
Only you want in my arms and right here in mine. Find it hard to believe you're never. Brian Adams. There you go.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Wow.
Brian Adams is like, as far as fashion photography goes, he's the man, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody send us some comments and accuse me. So it's like, you know, it's a lot of people do their job and they've got this thing on the side with it's photography and it's
the one to escape from the job.
It's the, you know, yeah, it is, and it's an escape.
Yeah.
But you in this case, you love your job. You don't have the escape.
I do, yeah.
You've got this contrast between two jobs. I mean, how many times have I said to you, just leave the carpentry and just go full-time to photography?
Yeah, you have.
You may as well do it.
But I've said I don't want to. I love it. And I love it as much now, honestly, as the day I started when I left school.
God.
And I think there's not many people can say that about the job of their life.
Yeah.
And I think you're very fortunate if you can
balance it.
You can do that, yeah.
You've managed to balance them out.
And I do, you know, I really do feel quite fortunate to be able to still do what I do now at the same rate as I did when I was 20.
You got the best of both worlds, eh?
Yeah, I really have, Paul. Living the dream, as they say, and I really am. So, yeah, just keep going. Keep going. And that's my philosophy, you know, if you enjoy something, get the best out of it. If an opportunity comes along, be it travel or whatever, don't hesitate, because tomorrow might not be here. Go and do it.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Go and do it.
Yeah.
Better to go and have a shit time than not go and wish you'd gone.
Yeah. Look, I've known Ed for years now, and he's pretty much, for him, everything's spare of the moment. You know, it's last minute decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that becomes...
Which worked for us tonight, didn't it?
Well,
Yeah. It's like, guys, let's just pack up and go. That mountain's not going to show, is it?
It's a 50-50 chance with these things, though, isn't it?
It was, but you know, I just had a hunch that something was going to be better over this side than it was where we were, and fortunately, it paid off tonight.
Not only that, but we've got a 10-minute walk and we've got 3 bottles of wine at the end.
But, you know, I'm a big believer in fate, and things happen for a reason.
Yeah, definitely. That's why that's why you capture rainbows and
Yeah.
It's experience as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like a calculated risk. Isn't
Yeah, you kind of have a feeling,
educated hunch.
a hunch.
Yeah.
A hunch is more of a
Yeah.
apt word for it. Yeah.
You can't fail to capture rainbows in Harris, though. It happens all the time. I mean, you can
I
literally...
did pretty well in Harris.
I mean, from the time I spent there, you can kind of pretty much turn around and...
You know, there's one got.
It's just going to go off. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just that kind of place where it happens all the time.
Is, yeah.
because it's just going from sun to storms.
It's just the weather patterns that roll through it. And you can just see it happening in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
That's what's so magical about it, I think.
It is. It is. But what surprised me today was the temperature. When we arrived in Rome, it's like, wow, that's
cooking.
Really quite
I had 2 jackets on, it didn't last long, I tell you.
It was 21 degrees when I landed.
You rocked up in board shorts, mate.
Yeah,
you had your little cocktail umbrella with your Sony camera underneath for you to
I am Cornwall, aren't I?
You're like, aloha! Yeah, it's like we've just finished ski season in Italy, but anyway,
I was still
he
dressed
rocked
for
up with his
winter.
shorts on, yeah.
brave lad.
Well, you know, this is I'm ended it the same way, aren't I? You know,
I was still dressed for winter. 2 jackets on.
That's one thing you do have to be prepared for is conditions in photography.
Yeah.
Gavin, I think some of the places I've been to in Dubai where it's been over 100 degrees and it's absolutely sweltering. And I've been to Canada where I think, right, it was the coldest winter Canada had since 1976. With the wind chill factor, it was minus 49 degrees. Honestly, I've never experienced anything like it in my life.
Minus 49.
Minus 49.
Your pubic hairs would have been like frozen, wouldn't they?
Do you know what? During the day, it was around minus 38, something like that. And there was a train waiting to come into position. and I wanted to get the shot, and it got a beautiful mountain background, obviously covered in snow. So I jumped out of the car, and I obviously got all my clothes on, but no gloves, just grabbed the camera. And I was waiting for this train to just come in position, and literally within 2 minutes, I was running back to the car. The pain in my hands was just unbelievable. And you can see how people die in these conditions.
Yeah,
I'm ill prepared.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. It was back to the car and
You didn't have Valorant gloves, mate. So if you had had Valorant
that
gloves, that
wouldn't
wouldn't
have
have happened.
No.
and the other thing is I've got gloves in the car, we just never put them on.
Have you not got a pair of Valorant gloves?
No, funny you should say. Have you got some spare?
I have actually.
Oh, top man.
Yeah, I've got a pair of hatchets. Your name on them.
You haven't got Valorant gloves. Where have you been?
I use mountain equipment.
Mountain equipment gloves, but they don't have the little.
No, they don't.
Nah, so you're missing out, mate. No.
Well, that's why I can't take.
That's why I paid for the 20-kilogram bag with Ryanair, so you can have a pair of Valorant gloves.
Absolutely faultless to a T. I knew from the minute I met you, I thought I couldn't get over this guy. Which was only this morning, I have to say. Yeah, but joking aside, but do you know what I mean? We feel as though, I feel as though I've known you for quite a long time, and we only met this morning with you two. It's been fabulous first day. Couldn't have wished for it.
Why is that? No, because I
don't know.
I've had this feeling. I mean, not just about you, about these guys.
Yeah.
But about other people I've met. Obviously, over the years, when you work with other photographers, or whether you share ideas and stuff, and you might go out and shoot together. You meet up for the first time, and it's just like.
I think
I've known you for 20 years.
Why
is it?
I don't know, but we have that, man. I mean, I feel as though we had a really special bond.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought you were going to say something different then. I thought you were going to say it was a struggle.
It's a struggle.
Yeah,
it's a struggle. Because when I met you, I thought you were an absolute prick when I first met you. But slowly you warmed up, and you're a bit loud in the beginning. So he's okay.
He wore you down, didn't he? That's what it was. He wore you down. The point was like, go on, man.
It was just a good connection.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll be mates forever.
Yeah, bloody hell.
Really good mates. Yeah, which is nice. And I think we will have this conversation up there, Paul, didn't we? Where I think it's nice when you just meet some guys and you all share this unique bond in an amazing environment at a special time.
Yeah.
Which adds to a big element and part of it, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And we've said this for a while, isn't it? Yeah. We're really advocates for working together as a group, collaborating.
Yeah, definitely.
All of that just works together so well, I think, with photography. I mean, there's been too much of this sort of... Yeah, everybody likes to go and do their own thing, but I think it works really well as a community.
Yeah, do you know what, even doing a group to a point, you can go and do your own thing, but I think it's really nice where, like now, at the end of the day, you can sit down and have a meal together and discuss aspects of the day and share tips, but you can still kind of do your own thing to a point on a group, which is great, and especially on something like this, the locations that you would go to would allow that. You're only a yell away from the car, but you can still be on your own.
Yeah, definitely.
But within a group.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so of course. You go together, you travel in the car, you get to the destination together, you discuss it, and then everyone sort of goes off on their own little
I think a lot of people that are thinking of doing trips, sometimes I've had conversations with people that I've met all over, and a lot do have this feeling that you have to be as one unit and you have to line up tripods next to each other. Well, it's not the case.
Not where we are, mate. No,
it's the same, and I think
there's national parks in the United States where literally you've got hundreds of tripods. It's madness.
It is,
isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. But it's a big old place, the world, and there's lots of places to go and see. So
there is.
You get the opportunity. Please just take it and go.
And the thing is, people still think that everything's been photographed.
Far from it.
No,
it hasn't.
Far from it.
It hasn't.
Even the places like the castle has been photographed before, hasn't it?
Here.
Yeah.
It has, but
not. I know, like not in the grand schemes, as is Mesa Arch, but like I mean like there's always different shots to be had, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. Like I mean, this place is famous from the movie Michelle Pfeiffer and Rutger Hauer. What was it called? Lady Hawk.
You mentioned it.
Yeah. It's a cool film.
It was a good movie, actually. Yeah. Very good movie. Yeah.
There's all that sort of fantasy genre.
Yeah, very medieval fantasy back in the day. So it became famous back in those days. It was in probably late 80s. But, as far as landscape photographers go, because let's a lot of these locations you go to these days are all landscape photographers, aren't they? You just get tripods just lined up everywhere. Luckily enough, we're in Italy and we're in a location that's not easily accessible to the average traveller. So, it's maintained, the right amount of tourism that's justifiable because it is a beautiful place and Italians do come here and visit here. And it's beautiful. People come up here for picnics and all that sort of stuff and take their iPhone pics but it definitely doesn't have the traffic that some other places have. So
I think that's been quite noticeable today too.
Well, it's just us up there, mate.
No cars even.
No.
Other photographers.
I mean, tonight it was just us, mate.
Yeah.
And look at this place. I think there's pretty much only us here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Staying at it.
What an opportunity though to come and spend some time here because you are literally on the doorstep of two of the most iconic locations in this area.
Yeah.
And we've taken so many shots under different conditions in a 2-hour window.
Yeah.
In one session. It's just unbelievable. People, I would imagine, that come to shoot that would drive out to shoot that, and as soon as the sun's down, they're gone. But we waited just after, and then we get clouds rolling in. It's a lit castle, offering such a unique opportunity to shoot something that you wouldn't normally.
An hour and a half after the sun had gone down.
Yeah, absolutely.
An hour and a half, and the sky was still pink.
Yeah. They didn't want to stop.
You couldn't believe it.
Still a blowout, allowing you still to get wonderful shots.
Yeah.
So this is definitely a place I'd love to come back to.
Yeah.
And that's after one day.
I took 35 shots of the exact same composition.
Because they were changing.
Yeah.
And every shot would be different because the clouds were rolling in so quickly.
Hopefully one of them's that wave.
That wave.
I'm sure
My God.
Yeah. Which is not uncommon for me to stay in the same spot. But it's very uncommon for me to take 35 images
shots,
in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Let alone 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I follow some of the forums on social when I get the chance to read up, and there was one on the Nikon Z9.
Don't get him started on the Z9.
And this guy, I literally got his brand new camera, gone out for the weekend and shot 4,500 images. I'm like,
in a weekend?
Wow. I don't shoot that in a year.
4,500
in a weekend, So I don't know what he was photographing. I think he was just testing
Formula One.
I think he was testing the shutter rate constantly. It's just
4,500. I don't think I've actually ever taken 4,500 images.
No.
I can't afford memory cards.
Can you imagine that? God, what a buffer.
I've probably taken today 12, 13 images.
I've taken more
13 images?
Yeah.
Is that all?
Really?
Overall, yeah.
Been on rapid fire, right?
I've done a few more than
that. Yeah, but I was saying to it today, I know these places quite well, so...
Yeah, it's not new to you, is it?
It's not new to me. It's not like all of a sudden you see this mountain and you go, I've never seen this mountain before, I'm going to take a photo of it.
Yeah.
I've seen it. And I've probably seen it in its best light.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, the best light I thought it could be, there can always be a better light, but I wasn't blown away by it. I got the images just because...
Well, look at us tonight. We were stood up there taking them as the mist was going, he buggered off.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh God, look at this. I'm going to take one of this, and then
I said to
honestly,
you,
we were just like, we're going to be here till
I said to him,
midnight.
look at this, it's awesome. He said, yeah, it's alright. This is awesome. We don't get this at home.
Who said it was all right? Me.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to it. I drive past the freaking Colosseum every day to go to work. Most people dream about seeing the Colosseum.
Yeah, you get
I drive past it to go to
desensitized,
work. You know,
Desensitized to it.
you do.
I flew over it today and like, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
But no, it's definitely a beautiful place, and
It is.
we've got 3 more full days of it to go, and
Oh,
we're
wow.
going to be even travelling into an area that's even more rugged.
Yeah.
We're not going to get the castles and all that sort of stuff. It's going to be sort of like less medieval, but it's going to be more sort of
landscape.
Raw.
yeah. We're going to be into full on raw landscape.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing where we're going to be going in the next few days.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to doing. Something like fresh, you know.
Me too. It's actually we're actually going to go to an area I don't know. We're relying on Luigi. So if the photos that we take don't turn out well, we're going to set up a Luigi. Yeah. But it's great. Currently, we're sitting at a table in a little tiny medieval apartment in the middle of nowhere.
Apartment. That's so Italian.
Well, it's an apartment. What would you call it then?
Actually, no, apartment's like it's an American word, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
It's more,
Yeah.
No, that's what Italians call them. What would you call it?
I wouldn't even call it a townhouse. It's not a town, is it?
It's not a town.
It's weird. It's
the
like
first thing that struck me was a farm building, but then you are right. I'm not
it's more like a mountain hut more than a.
You say mountain hut. That's what I said before.
But
People
what was
just
the
expecting for bears to come out and
What do you reckon the
log cabins.
original? What do you reckon the original purpose of this building was? Then?
Maybe probably a house.
This was a
That
house,
would be a
mate.
house.
A house, but what for?
This
What,
would have been a house.
for someone who worked land.
Yeah.
Or-
Well, no,
People
I
lived here,
guess,
mate.
I guess if you
Yeah,
think
but I
back
mean,
to
like-
when the castle was here, there must have been buildings round it to support the
maybe
castle.
maybe that's what it was. Yeah, maybe it was something to do with the
Well,
castle.
people lived around the castle because the castle was the main defence
Yeah,
of the town.
like usually,
So,
yeah,
if you got
yeah.
invaded, you would then move to the castle. So people lived around the castle.
Yeah.
And then you have the plains down the bottom where people did
So it was obviously some
their,
sort of
their
building
cultivation,
to
did their
support the
farming.
castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some sort
Yeah,
of
you
building.
would think so,
Yeah.
wouldn't you?
So it was either what? I don't know.
Look how thick the friggin' walls are, mate.
Yeah.
Do they build walls that thick these days?
Well, I guess it would be a baker's. It could be anything like
could
that.
have been anything.
like that.
Yeah, certainly finding some history about it would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Definitely.
Stunning though, isn't it? It's lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
If
fantastic.
I go upstairs, I need to really duck because I'm going to smack my head off the ceiling. That's going to happen.
I hope you don't get scared during the night time when you wake up.
Yeah, smack. Because the ceiling's about a metre higher away from your face.
Yeah, definitely. You won't wake me up, mate. I'm like a lead balloon. My sleep.
I think I will be tonight. Yeah, it's been a long day. 3 o'clock we started.
Crashing about 3 seconds, huh?
Have we started on the
Hopefully.
third bottle yet?
Not
Yeah.
yet, but we're getting onto it very soon. Yeah.
No, have we not started the third bottle?
No, we haven't started the third
Yeah,
bottle.
that's the one,
We're still got it. Is that the first
So-
bottle?
Yeah.
What is that one?
Jesus. What happened to the second bottle?
Oh, that just went. That went in.
I think it's my favourite.
Is that your favourite?
That's whiskey, mate.
I think
is
the
it?
first one was my favourite.
Do you want
Oh, this the
want a
last
whiskey?
one's not bad.
No, don't drink spirits.
Yeah, the first one was nice though.
That's a nice whiskey though.
The smell.
See, we're still trying to get a sponsor for the podcast for Lagavulin.
Oh yeah, like everyone.
Can Lagavulin sponsor us, do you think? Do you think we're made up to it? You know. We can do they can sponsor our podcast and we'll drink Lagavulin while we're doing the podcast.
Yeah.
Easy.
I'll wear a t-shirt. You know, put a
Yeah.
hat on.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So, anyway, guys, it was a pleasure to have you on, Ed.
Thank you.
And,
It's been good
Even though
fun.
you didn't know about it.
No, I didn't know about it. But
This is the only way you can get you on a podcast.
Yeah.
This is the way.
I just put a microphone in the middle of the table and pressed record, and he went, "Shit, what's that for? What's that thing for? Looks erect."
It's like being at work again, isn't it?
Yeah, no, good. We're gonna have some great days together, guys. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Cheers, boys.
Up your bum. There we go.
What do they say in Italy? Ciao.
salute.
Salute.
Salute. Or ching ching.
Ching ching, yeah.